All right, my name is Haley Bassing, and I teach the film classes here at Pedro Vista. And this is going to be our first episode for the Panther Vision podcast. So I'm here with a coworker, Rachel. Recently, she was named the Employee of the Month at Pedro Vista High School. So, Rachel, will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Rachel Yazzie, and I am the FACE counselor, so the college counselor in our department.
Cool. Can you talk a little bit about the guidance office and all of the services that you guys offer up there?
Yeah, so we are the student support service, and we have a lot of different people in our department. So we have about 5 school counselors, 4 who are more the academic, but they also have a lot of other duties. And I oversee all the college and career. So I primarily work with seniors. We also have Miss Glenda Hardy, who is our Native American Youth Advisor. She works with our Native students, provides different services for different like reimbursements. She does Native and cultural field trips, and she's that extra support academically as well. We also have 2 social workers, so Miss Nez and Miss Smiley. So they provide all the social emotional support for our students. Some they are assigned to, and some they're just available. And we also have our secretary, Ms. Courtney Lopez. She's the first person you see in our office and kind of directs you to see to make sure that you're signing in our iPad, getting you to the right person. The last person that we have is Miss Jennifer Jesse, and she is our registrar. So she does all the new enrollments, transfers, work permits, and different things. So we all have our own roles that we play.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think the last time I checked, we had about 1,600 check-ins in our office, and it's barely September.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of students and parents. We also go to meetings and you probably see in classroom presentations, parent university. So we're pretty much involved in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's awesome. I think back to when I was in high school, and I don't remember that far back, but I don't feel like all of those services were available that long ago, you know?
Yeah, and I think our biggest kind of challenge for us is that we are really trying to maybe look at assigning different duties to provide more direct services to students.
Yeah.
So we work with, like, we have testing, so all the PSAT, SAT, any state testing that comes out of our department, 504s, SATs, and IEPs. That takes a lot of time, and so we're really wanting to push, and we're going to try small groups this year. So that's something that we're really excited about, and working with our admin and social workers to get those started.
Cool. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah, and so everybody has almost about 400 students to their caseload, so they're very busy. Yeah. So, and one of the big things is our if you look at my shirts, it's not guidance counselor, it's school counselor. It's through the American School Counseling Association, and they really recommend that students or districts to provide school counselors a 1 to 250 caseload, so you can meet your students.
Yeah.
And so my biggest thing is what you mentioned, kind of a little bit of reason why I became a school counselor is I had one academic counselor I maybe met with twice, and I had a Native American counselor that met with me and really encouraged me. And so my goal as a counselor is I meet with every single one of my students at least once or twice a year.
Yeah.
And that's our goal with our department too. So you will be meeting with your counselor individually.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. I've noticed that Miss Hardy, we did the ALP together. So I knew her a couple years ago, like on Zoom when we were doing it through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But she seems really involved with the students. Like, I've noticed that they're going on these trips and just providing opportunities that I had never heard of before.
Yeah, she is awesome. We love her in her office. She also helps out with the Chief Manuelito Scholarship and providing, we're just starting the Navajo government. So it's part of one of the requirements for our Native students who are applying for that scholarship. She's goes to like UNM every year. She goes, and she recently went to Oklahoma.
Cool.
And did a trip with Miss Dennison's class. Yeah, she is a great asset. She also does a club after school, the Global Glow. It's
Cool.
for young females, and they go through they have a curriculum. So
Thank
we work together. So that's one big thing is last year our team was very brand new. And this year we're really collaborating together and getting things done.
Yeah, that's great. Has there been any obstacles that you've had to overcome with this job?
I think last year was a big challenge for me, but also knowing who to ask for help. So last year we had it was just a big change in our office, and we were doing things a certain way for so many years. And like I always tell students, change happens, and changes always could be good,
Yeah.
But when change happened, it can be a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
So learning new things. Right now, I'm actually helping Mr. Pete with the testing schedule. I haven't had to do that in a few years. So learning, but being able to be like, hey, Miss Shorty, can you help me? Miss Thrower, or Miss Dalton. So we all bring different things into our department. And I forgot, I don't think I named the counselors.
Okay.
So let me do that really fast.
Sure.
Miss Joanna Thrower, she oversees 10th and 12th graders, A through J, last names. And then Miss Adiola Dalton sees K through Z, 10th through 12th as well. Miss Shorty, Sherilyn Shorty does 9 and 11, A through J, and Mr. Marvin Pete does K through Z, last name. So I know that's a lot of things to remember. So just come into our office and ask Miss Lopez, I need to see my counselor, and at least know your last name. We'll get you to the right spot.
And what grade you're in.
Yeah, what grade you're in. That's important.
That's awesome. Well, it takes a village, and it's cool that you guys are all there and you're able to work together with each other. You do so much work for the seniors in our school. What's a highlight that you could share with us? Like, has there been any students that have come back and thanked you or wanted to share something that happened to them?
Yes, I actually I do keep in contact with some of our seniors or our past graduates. There's a few that are at NAU, University of Southern California, UNLV. And the biggest thing that they had kind of talked about, or any senior, is meeting deadlines, not understanding how important deadlines are. So if you have a scholarship, like for your class, you might have a student who's working on a project and they don't finish, like maybe it's due today, but you're like, I'll go ahead and extend it and I'll get it tomorrow. With a college admissions application or scholarship, there's a deadline, so you can't turn anything in. So really planning, organizing, using your calendar, that is probably one. Another one is, I know for all the 8th graders who were last year now freshmen, it's a brand new setting, different grading scale, different expectations. We have the Panther way, different types of things that we expect from our students. And knowing how important grades are.
Yeah.
Like if students really understood. So I have a student every single year this fall, and I'm still meeting with students or seniors that they're like, hey, Ms Yazzie, I have a 4.1, and they might have straight A's right now. I'm like, that's so great, but let's look at your cumulative GPA. Mm-hmm. And that is where your 9th, your 10th, and 11th. So the biggest thing is working hard every year and knowing that really the last grades that your college admissions reps are going to see is your final grades from your junior year. Cool. So you don't really realize that. So I think that's one important thing. And applying for scholarships. That's a huge, we have a lot of students, and I go through and I do classroom presentations and talk about New Mexico has some great opportunities for our students who are going to be staying in New Mexico. Yeah. So we have the New Mexico Opportunity and the New Mexico Lottery Scholarship, which gives you free tuition. Yeah. So that is a huge lift. For example, UNM's tuition for 1 year is $11,000. And so New Mexico waives that. The kicker is a lot of students also don't know dual credit matters. Oh, sure. Your dual credit matter, your grades matter. You have to maintain a 2.5 GPA if you're taking dual credit to get the opportunity after you graduate.
Yeah. And that's important. That's real.
So I think not really understanding that. I know we have students who take dual credit and maybe get a little lax in the summer, and then it affects eligibility and different things. So. Yeah.
And their GPA and all of it.
GPA, yeah. So it's really important. When you do start applying to different colleges, you will have to pay to apply.
Yeah.
So students don't know that. Pay for housing, deposits. So I always tell students, you're looking for any housing meal plans anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000, no matter where you go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a crazy big number.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was that when I went to college.
Yeah. And I think, though, there's a lot of students, particularly at PV, that I've noticed that a lot of families are not really wanting to fill out the FAFSA. So that's the free application for federal student aid. And for some scholarships, it's actually required, or different programs.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I've been trying to push, and hopefully students, that's free money. So if you fill out a FAFSA and you make your parent base, it's based on your parents' income 2 years prior. And if you qualify for a grant, that's absolutely free money. And that's going directly towards your education. And it can get up to $7,000.
Yeah.
So if you have the opportunity or the lottery, that's $7,000 that goes towards that housing plan. And if you get more scholarships, there's some students who are getting paid to go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool. Well, and it's funny because I've had seniors put into my class, and I'm like, what's going on? Because I've never seen them before. And they're like, oh, I didn't get any elective credits when I was a freshman because I didn't do my work or whatever, And so it's, like you said, it's starting to catch up to them. And they're mature enough now to recognize that. And so they're lecturing all the kids in my class, like, make sure you pass this year so you don't have to be like me and come back and make up credit,
Yeah, and this year it's actually, we no longer have credit recovery during the day. So if you fail an elective, or not elective, but a core class, you have to come after school and complete that class. So, and graduation requirements are going to be changing for the incoming 9th graders. So that's something that we're working on. One thing that we did differently is that we actually sent out transcripts to every single parent for 10th through 12th because of that.
Yeah.
Because we are really trying to last year, actually, congrats to last year's class. They were the highest graduating class from PV. We had, I believe it was a really good graduation rate. And so we're wanting to continue that, and then providing, hey, you're already missing these credits. Parents, this is where you're at. How can we get you back on track?
Yeah.
So
that's great. That's great that you do that, just to, because I'm a visual learner. I need that paper, something I could print out and be like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this to kind of stay on track.
Yeah, and actually, Miss Thrower, Miss Dalton just met with all the seniors this past week, and they did exactly that. They went through they printed out their transcripts. They have their graduation plans. So every single senior that was here knows how many credits they have, what they need, and what they need to do to get on track. Yeah.
Good. Well, that's all the questions I have. You answered the importance of the FAFSA. Do you know that date off the top of your head?
So actually, the FAFSA typically opens up in October. However, they are pushing that back. Last year, they had to reopen it. They revamped the whole portal. And so it's going to be open until December. But students can start. So it's a 2-step kind of process. So the first step is you create an account, you and one parent or guardian. You can do that now. And then it'll be ready for when December hits. And then with those FAFSA dates too, there are different deadlines with college admissions where you need to have that submitted by a certain date.
Cool.
So that's a big thing. I know a lot of bigger schools are doing January 1st. Some big other deadlines that I want to share to the seniors is if you're applying to New Mexico State in Cruces or UNM, you need to be applying now because your deadline is December 1st. So for some students, they have to be accepted and then apply separately for a different scholarship application. And all of that is due by December 1st.
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's a good, solid deadline.
Yeah.
Right
so,
before the end of the
and
year.
they should know because I've been telling them. And I post on Schoology a lot. I have, so every student should have a Schoology page on their counselor's page. And the counselors and we both share. And so I post college visits. I'm actually going to be taking students to San Juan College for senior day at the end of the month. And then we're planning on some college trips, hopefully either this semester or next semester.
Cool. That's awesome. I think that's all I have for you. Okay. Is there anything else that the people need to know?
I guess if you do have questions, don't hesitate to ask. Emailing, please check your email. I know that I know that I'm pretty good about it. The students who email me, they usually get an answer within that day or if I'm out of work. But requesting for support. So if you need to talk to a counselor, whether that be academic or you're just struggling or you're having a really bad day. And then we have some what's called a TLC room for students who might need some like a little break or like feeling just really overwhelmed. We have places for you. So just contact your counselor, myself, or any social worker, and we can direct you to that.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.